Welcome to Wrong Time Watch. My name is Kevin, and in this video we're looking at the Long Island watch, Islander ISL-26, and the Seiko Samurai SRPC93. So right off the bat, let's discuss the prices. The price for the ISL-26 is $320 on the Long Island Watch website, and the SRPC93 is $394. This is the Save the Ocean edition. I'm not sure if this is more than other Samurais. I did not look that up, but this is a Samurai I have in hand, so we're comparing these two today. So what does the ISL-26 have that the Samurai doesn't? Well, it has a double dome sapphire crystal with AR coating. It has a lumed ceramic bezel insert. Also, this particular model has a full lume dial. And this has the 4R36 movement. Actually, I guess this is the NH36, and this has the 4R35 movement. So the difference is the one in my left hand has the day and date versus just the date on the Samurai. I actually prefer just the date especially with this dial. This is one of my favorite dials. I'll shine a light on it in a moment to show you the texture to the dial. So I did measure the cases on both of these, and I thought that the Samurai was supposed to be a bigger watch, but the cases look to be exactly the same. Lug to lug on the ISL-26 is 48.2, and it's the same on Samurai, 48.2. Also, the diameter on the ISL-26 and the Samurai, I measured it at 42.5 millimeters. It was easier to measure on this one because the bezel is smaller, but I measured from right here to this little recess right here. I did the same thing on the Samurai, but the bezel sticks out farther than the case, so I had to make sure my calipers came in below the bezel here. So since I already mentioned the bezel on the ISL-26 is 41.3 millimeter diameter, and on the Samurai, on this one here, is 43.7 millimeter. I didn't realize that when I just had the ISL-26 in hand. I didn't realize it until I took this one out of the box. I actually prefer the look of the Samurai better than this one. You see more of the case around here. Especially right here, you see a bit of the case. So I don't have a normal full stainless Samurai. Well, this is stainless too, but it's been blackened. Also, this crown sticks out farther. So the Islander does have a signed crown. Seiko does not. They both have the drilled lugs. The bracelet on this one is much heavier. This watch overall is heavier, even though I have not sized the Samurai yet. This one definitely feels heavier. I can show you the bracelets here, hopefully without scratching them up. Let's see, maybe I can zoom in. I want to show you how much thicker the bracelet is on this Islander. You can see that there. That gives you a good angle. So also the Islander does have screwed links, much easier to change out than the... Pretty sure this has the pin and collar, which is why I haven't messed with it yet. I did change it on one watch I had. I did change out the pin and collar. It wasn't too bad, but I did lose a collar. Eventually found it, thankfully. I think it was a miracle I found it. So this does have solid links, solid end links. Speaking of the end links, the lug to lug with the fixed center links on this is 53 millimeter, and on the Islander is 53.3, so it's slightly larger in that way. So I was just looking at that center link there. It's narrower than on the Samurai, but the outer links on the Samurai are narrower than this one. This one tapers down too. The Samurai doesn't taper. No, I didn't measure that, but it definitely tapers down. So the Samurai has an aluminum bezel insert and it has a hard lux crystal. So if you're just looking at the specs, the Islander is definitely a better value. I'll show them both here on wrist, and then we'll end the video with a Lume shot. But if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate it if you could do so. Like the video if you liked it, and leave a comment. Let me know which one of these two watches you like more. Also, the chapter ring's a bit different. This one you can use use SKX bezel insert. Pretty sure you can use a dial too. Should look at the crystals. I'm not sure if I can tell the difference. I don't know if the crystal has the same diameter, but the bezel is definitely wider. So one thing you do get on the Samurai that you don't get on the Islander is a dive extension. This also has a dual pushers. It does have a stamped clasp, which doesn't bother me, but I know it does bother some other people. So let's see if I can get the dive extension out. There we go. This does have a little dive extension in there. Not that I would ever use it, but it is there if you need it. All right, let's get these on wrist. Let's start with the Islander. I really like the dial on this, and the hands and the indices actually. The watch is just a bit too big for me. Sorry, thinking of if I could transplant it to something else, but I don't know. I don't know if I could do that. This one is a little snug, a little more snug than I would prefer to wear, but that's what it is. So again, I have a 6.5 inch wrist with a 52 millimeter wristband, and the lug to lug on this is 48.2, and then with the fixed center links there is 53.3. But since it slopes down so much, it doesn't. I don't think it's as big of a deal on this watch. If the lugs were to come straight out, then it would be more of an issue. I don't know if I mentioned the thickness or not. This is 15.2 millimeter thick, and the Samurai is 13 millimeter thick. So I'll show that side by side here in a moment. Let me get the other wrist shot out of the way, then I'll look at the thickness. Now to show you this dial too with the flashlight. It's one of my favorite watch dials. So here we are zoomed out. This bezel is pretty easy to turn also. See if it lines up. Looks like it actually lines up. Well, chapter ring's a little bit to the left, actually. Don't have to worry about that on the Islander because the chapter ring doesn't have any marks on it. So anyway, let's look at the thickness before I forget again. Not really seeing where the extra 2 millimeters comes from. Well, I say 1 is for the crystal, for sure, because it pops out there with the dome crystal. Maybe the case back. The case back definitely protrudes out from the bottom of the watch. This one does as well, but I don't think... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, this one definitely is thicker coming out the bottom too. So let's close out the video with a Lume shot. Well, it's not quite a fair Lume comparison, but this what I have on hand is the full Lume ISL-26, the samurai style case. So the samurai is actually, I would say the Lume on the samurai is brighter than the Lume on the ISL-26. I mean, not overall, but just looking at the hands and the indices. But it's hard to say, really. It looks different by eye than it does on camera. The full Lume dial is not quite as bright as is shown on camera here. The samurai definitely has impressive Lume. And then, of course, you have the full loomed bezel insert on the ISL-26. So anyway, let me know what you guys think. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.